Explosion! FlyFox.
Boom. Welcome. Welcome to concurrent viewers. Yes. Welcome. It is Tuesday, March 16th, 2021. And the world continues to be a crazy old place with crazy people in it. First bit of news to start the day. A group of current and former teachers and others in Loudoun County, Virginia, compiled a lengthy list of parents suspected of disagreeing with school system actions, including its teaching of controversial racial concept, with a stated purpose in part to infiltrate, to use hackers to silence parents' communications, and to expose these people publicly. Your tax dollars at work. Come on. Come on, man. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The idea of this would be, it would be crazy enough if that county's top prosecutor, was not a member of the Facebook group. It would already be crazy enough, but they in fact are a member of the Facebook group. I don't expect there to be any justice on the behalf of those parents for conspiracy to possibly commit crimes if the prosecutor in the county is indeed a member of the same Facebook group that is seeking to silence these people into submission. It doesn't seem to me like that is going to be a place with a lot of justice going on. Surprise, surprise, supported by George Soros. Well, I think that's a bit of news for you to start out the program. Is it still lagging, Hervoge? Let me know. Yeah, apparently the side that was all about truth and was opposed to alternative facts merely months ago is just keen on lying to the American public, deceiving, and presenting their alternative facts. They are not good faith actors, the mainstream media or the liberals. And I think it's about time people recognize that they're not good faith actors. They're not going to act in good faith ever. That's better. What are we up to today? I don't know. We're talking about truth, I guess. What is truth? Right? What is truth? How do we know what truth is? What is the definition of truth? Let's go to that just fount of non-political knowledge known as Merriam-Webster's Dictionary. And let's look up truth. What is the Merriam-Webster definition? It says, the body of real things, events and facts, actuality, the state of being the case, a transcendental, fundamental, or spiritual reality, a judgment, proposition, or idea that is true or accepted as true the body of true statements and propositions, the property as of a statement of being in accord with fact or reality. The property of being in accord with fact or reality. When we allow people to use statements unchecked like my truth, this is my truth. I'm not concerned with your truth. I'm concerned with the truth. What is the truth? What is the truth? Right? What is in accord with reality and fact? But today, people are more concerned with their truth, what they feel, what they think, not what is actually true. And so they don't value actual truth. They don't place any value in knowing facts, what is in accord with reality. Instead, they seek to justify what it is they feel. For example, Bill Burr, comedian who is going to be kicked out of Hollywood shortly, one would think. He hosted the Grammy Awards, and he said like two very milquetoast comments. They were not exactly the most, it was no Ricky Gervais, that's for sure. And yet he's being called hateful and a bigot and a racist, and then it turns out he's actually married to a black woman. Oh, so the narrative has to change. Well, he's a white supremacist. Lots of white supremacists date black women, apparently, and marry black women. Because it's not about what the truth is. Whether or not Bill Burr is an actual racist doesn't matter, as long as it fits their version of their truth. Their truth is that Bill Burr is a racist. Their truth. Imagine this. Imagine a world where you can't win. You can't present any facts because they don't care about facts. They don't actually believe in truth. They don't want to know what's in accord with fact or reality. Instead, they want to justify their own opinions. And when presented with facts that contradict them, they just ignore them or redefine things. I hate you, therefore you're a racist. You're a bigot. Oh, what have I done that's bigoted? You opposed a policy that I support. That makes me bigoted? Makes me a racist or something? I'm afraid of somebody because I advocated you're some sort of phobe. You're a phobe, aren't you? Oh, okay. Well, see, idiots care about what someone said at an award show that lost 53% of viewership. Idiots. Those are the only people watching the award show because award shows are stupid. They always have been, but we pretended like they weren't. We pretended that they mattered because there used to be this glamorous Hollywood and the glamour of celebrity. the American aristocracy or some nonsense. Oh, let's set these people apart with a big award ceremony where they dress up in their finest tuxedos and they show up and pat themselves on the back for their awards. Oh, but forget the fact that Alfred Hitchcock never won an award for Best Director. We're a totally legitimate organization. What's that? What's that you say? You don't believe us? You don't believe in the legitimacy of an awards show, that an awards industry that gave awards to known child rapists like Roman Polanski? Convicted, by the way. That's not an alleged statement. Roman Polanski, convicted. Roman Polanski, convicted. Convicted. Pled not guilty, by the way. Verdict: guilty of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. Roman Polanski. The same. I mean, it's not the Grammys, but the Academy Awards gave, they nominate him for awards, and they honor him, and he has to accept his award in exile in France, where he fled to avoid justice. We're a totally legit industry. And the Grammys are just as bad, just as stupid. These award shows will go away. One of the things I think that's killed them is nobody wants to watch these COVID awards. This facade, this play they're putting on, this act that we're not going to get COVID because we're on Skype. We're not going to show all up. How about just bring the nominees and have them social distance? No, we couldn't possibly. What about the ones that just live in the Los Angeles area or wherever you're having the Grammys awards? You're clearly having musicians come in to perform your propaganda, so you can't have the nominees come in. No. We must have the awards by candlelight. No, I mean Skype, not candlelight, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, Skype, or whatever program we're using. And they'll continue to justify it by their activism because the facts don't matter. And these companies are willing to take a couple hours loss on income. It's either that or reruns of their sitcoms, which will get more viewers, but what are you going to do? It's not, sports season is done. Sunday Night Football is done. Nobody cares about the NBA. Nobody cares in the United States about hockey. There's primetime baseball. That's not primetime baseball. That's not a thing at American broadcast television. Sorry to all you baseball fans. Did you know that the Major League Baseball is the second biggest sport in terms of revenue brought in after the NFL? In the world, by the way. I'm astonished by that. But then you think they play over 100 games, and all of those games are broadcast. All of those, in some manner, to some degree, and all of those games have people going to them. Well, not last year, but hypothetically. I'd like to see their books. Like, what percentage of money, expense are they really bringing in? Because if we're just looking at, the total money brought in without looking at what their expenses are and everything, I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. Right. More truth. The Chairman Biden and his administration claims that the last administration, referring to President Trump, the last administration left us a dismantled and unworkable system on the border. And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why people trying to enter the country illegally has skyrocketed after that administration left office, because it was broken and unworkable. Yeah, only one, P-Money, because the Expos suck and don't exist anymore. Kind of crazy that a team that was once Canadian, the Expos, is now the team in the national capital of the United States, the Washington Nationals, which is stupid. It should have been the Senators, like the classic MLB team. But I think the Mariners or somebody own that. Let's see. MLB Senators. History of the Washington Senators, 1960. Oh, no, I was wrong. Now the Minnesota Twins. So thanks, Minnesota. Might as well be Canada. Lots of bad stuff comes out of Minnesota. I'm just telling you right now. What I want to know is how the National Basketball Association is national when it has a Canadian team, and formerly 2 Canadian teams. True. All the filth of Canada washes into Minnesota. Everybody knows that. All right. More lies. I mean truth. What is truth? This is a question. And I think one of the things that blame Canada indeed. One of the things I endeavor to do in my life, doesn't mean I'm perfect at it, I don't think anybody is I try to find out the truth of things. I want to know the truth, even if it contradicts what I believe. I have to re-examine my beliefs in the face of new facts that come in. There's a lot of people out there, they don't want to hear anything that contradicts what they believe. They don't want to look at the other side. They don't want to consider the arguments of the other side. And they want to cancel everybody they disagree with. This is on both sides, by the way, all the time. Oh, look, this person's being canceled. They should resign. Oh, is there any proof that what they did was true? That the people that were calling for the resignation is? No, just accusations. Oh, so no truth to it. Well, no, it's their truth. Oh, so you're just giving in to the other side and their tactics of canceling people? It's like when Al Franken got accused of sexual impropriety and suddenly the right was in support of cancel culture. I don't think all of them were, but mostly it was his own side calling for him to be canceled. And they learned from that mistake, right? They learned from that mistake of making Al Franken resign. Basically, now they definitely do not call for any of their people to resign. You should be in the Red Letter Media crew as a stand-in for Rich Evans. I don't think they'd want me, dude. I don't think they'd want me. Am I that fat? Is that what it is? And Canada recently won the basketball league. That's true. They did. And then their star player immediately left and went somewhere else because he didn't want to play in Canada. True. No one cares about the hockey P-Money except for Canadians. I got news for you. The Voice. Okay. Is it a similar voice? Okay. I see what you're saying. I got news for you. No, the majority of people in the United States couldn't tell you who won the Stanley Cup last year, including myself. Don't know. I know that at one point, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and I think that was a few years ago, they lost in the Stanley Cup Finals. Thank God. P-Money says, in 1917, Toronto won NHL Cup, and in 1918, NHL canceled for flu. In 1993, Toronto wins MLB, and in 1994, MLB canceled for strike. Toronto wins basketball in 2019, and 2020, basketball canceled for COVID. Postponed. They actually finished the basketball season. But yes, There is a correlation there, must equal causation. Definitely the cause. Therefore, Toronto should not be allowed to win anything. But it's not like the Maple Leafs didn't win in between that NHL Cup and these other things. So I guess it's like one and done. So was it the first time? I doubt it. I don't know when the National Hockey League was formed or when Toronto started winning. I don't care about that. If the formerly the Phoenix Coyotes, I think they're called the Arizona Coyotes now, if they weren't located on the complete opposite side of Phoenix than me, it's at least 45 minute to an hour drive to get out there, then I might consider going to their games. But so it's the first time they win that it happens. All right. So I think that's all the big sports they're in. Actually, no, there's a Toronto MLS team, but they've probably already won. So, but that's not a big sport. Yeah, the Arizona Coyotes are located on the far end of the opposite end of where I live. Or I might consider going to their hockey games, because it's kind of fun to actually go to a live hockey game, but I would in no way ever watch one on television. Would you have been here earlier? Would have been here earlier, but been belting out Snake Eater at the top of my lungs. Good for you, man. So back to the topic at hand. Truth. Asking ourselves, is what I believe the truth? And being willing to hear facts that contradict your beliefs. To consider the other side and their arguments and to listen honestly to them. Say, are they telling the truth? You're going to have no voice left tomorrow? I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry for that. I apologize for letting you think it was okay to belt songs out at the top of your lungs, thus destroying your much needed voice. I should have told you sooner. This means, going back to truth, that you might have to change your opinions about things. You might have to change your opinions about things. And you might have to apologize for things. But don't apologize for things you didn't do. That's stupid. All right. Here's more truth for you guys. So the question is, what is truth? Right? That's the question of the day. What is truth? The truth is that Hervoge got a thank you in this comic, but I did not. I did provide this comic. There it is. Castles and Cauldrons. It's more truth. If you weren't so lucky to be a backer of Otis Stein, which came in the mail today, you don't get to see this wonderful little comic I made. An omniscient being from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Oh my word. You watched Brotherhood? Couldn't get through like 3 episodes. Like, I've seen this show already. I'm going to watch it again. You got a free PDF of Otis? Good job. If you had $1 for every time an American asked him to apologize for something Canada did, well, it's only happened a couple times, so I guess $2. Yeah, I mean, if I had $1 for every time Canada did something stupid, I'd be pretty rich. I feel bad for Canada. They were so close to being a good place to live, but they didn't declare independence soon enough or in the right way. So they're still one of those lame Commonwealth nations that seems to think that rights are derived from something other than the creator himself, and so they can be taken away, like things like free speech or defending yourself? I got to petition the government to get a license to go and purchase a gun. Oh, I'm definitely going to move there. Government, can I have my God-given right, please? No. Okay, I'll just sit over here quietly as I pay my really, really high taxes for crappy national health care. Oh, you can't criticize us. What? No, you can't say things like mean things. We have anti-mean things laws. You can't say mean things anymore. Oh. Okay, I'll just sit here and not say anything. Yeah, I honestly, being a Commonwealth nation, no thank you. Guess what? You're still going to have trade and relations with Great Britain, even if you take the Queen off the money. The Queen of Canada? What a farce. The monarchy of Canada? You guys got a queen? When was the last time she ruled anything? There's this whole, like, I'm no fan of supposed actress Meghan Markle. Honestly, couldn't even have told you what she was in by name until they were like, oh, she's the girl from Suits, that show you watched a season of and then everyone forgot existed. About the guy pretending to be a lawyer and she's a paralegal. Remember, she's all awesome. Oh, she was black? Thought she just had a tan. That's probably racist. Somehow, not knowing somebody's ethnicity is racism. Apparently she's married to the artist formerly known as Prince Harry, and apparently she says mean things about the Queen. I'm no fan of calling people racist when they're clearly not racists. Yeah, Mark, you need to go on Oprah and talk about all the oppression you've faced throughout your life. From me. I'm a terrible racist. Hello, Nighthawk. How am I today? I'm doing well, thank you. But, that being said, you guys do realize that having a queen benefits you in no way other than tradition. And unless you're actually from England, the tradition of England is probably oppression against your people. Especially the Scots, the Irish, Northern Irish, right? India is still a Commonwealth nation. Australia. Yeah, there you go, Hervoge. Honestly, I didn't even know she was quote-unquote black. That's why it's so stupid, this identity politics nonsense, is that if I look at you and I think, oh, you're just a person, do I have to go around asking everyone, what do you identify as? Not just, oh, I've got my pronouns listed on my Twitter profile. Oh, I'm not on Twitter, so I wouldn't know. You didn't address me as the proper category of person and judge me based on that. Therefore, you're a racist. Yeah, what is black? What is black? It reminds me of the song, which, I don't agree with this guy, but it just reminds me of the song by KRS-One, where he says, I'm not black, I'm brown, right? I'm not white, I'm not black, I'm brown. This idea, like, as if black people were this monolithic culture. Are we just lumping all Africans that have really dark shades of melanin in together as if they are the same ethnic group? Honestly, it boggles my mind. Well, there you go, Mark. P Money's preferred pronoun is my lord, so everyone start calling that. No, thank you. We don't have your nobility here, sir. Your royals and such. We're all equals here in the United States. There is no American president. There is no American aristocracy. So, no, thank you. Oh, let's see. Oprah always gives away stuff on her show, like giving cars to her entire audience. Yeah, just go in there and say you've been oppressed. The good thing is about this country. And so I don't understand why other countries after the United States formed their political system. Why everybody else was like, oh, you know what? Who had a really good political system that we should all follow? England. Let's all be parliamentarians with prime ministers, and we'll just follow that system. Where it's real easy to pass laws, sweeping laws that can affect a whole country, and nobody can fight back. Let's do that. That'd be a great idea. Sweeping change. That's what our country needs. Sweeping radical change. You see a cacti on my hat? No, you see a cactus. Cacti is plural. Cactus is singular. There's only one cactus on my hat. But good observation. There indeed is a cactus on my hat. Yeah, Mark, your spelling is atrocious. How dare you? Misspell things? What an idiot. Help, come see the violence inherent in the system. I'm being oppressed. Yeah. To know we had a king. Thank you, Nighthawk. I appreciate that. I like that you like it. Did you like the one today? I think you did. You'll have to comment on it. If you didn't see my new it's not a new music video. That video is like 10 years old. Or actually over 10 years old. But I've re-uploaded it for everyone to enjoy. It's been labeled as cringe so far. What was once understood to be fun internet jackassery, one might say, or stupidity, is now labeled as cringe. All right. Thank you, Nighthawk. Yeah, so am I racist because I didn't know Meghan Markle was black when I watched Suits? I was just like, oh, there's a halfway decent looking female who they hired because she's halfway decent looking. No, it's not even white bread. It's wheat. I've rarely, if ever, eaten white bread in my life. If it was not like homemade bread that used that type of flour, I think maybe a dozen times in my life have I had white bread, especially peanut butter and jelly. Maybe a dozen times. When I went to someone's house and that's all they had. They're like, oh, you want some toast with your breakfast? Oh, sure, I'll have some toast. And they hand me this white bread. Oh my word, what is this? What is this? It tastes like sugar. It just melts in my mouth. This isn't bread. It has no substance to it. So even though the song is called White Bread, it indeed features no white bread in the actual music video. But I mean, it's not, the white bread's not, it's not just referring to the bread that you make the peanut butter and jelly with. It refers to the fact that I made it. I made the song. Although, according to family tradition, which we know from Elizabeth Warren is super valid and is able to get you jobs. So going and looking at genealogies and family histories, I am part American Indian, so I am no longer allowed to be referred to as white. I identify as Irish, Scottish, because Scots Irish is different than that, by the way, if you didn't know. Irish, Scottish, Swiss, English, German, French, Scandinavian, American Indian. Did you ever think of merging both songs together and making a remix? I have not. I've not made a song in many years. I'm drawing bread, of course. I'm drawing a conclusion about what truth is. So I tried to stream. I was going to stream. Tongue-tied. I was going to stream a video game this morning on my Twitch channel, which I think our main man, Hervoge, posted. He did. It's way at the top of the chat. I don't even know if you guys can scroll up that far. Paninis are good. Good paninis are good. Bad paninis are bad. On Twitch, I was going to stream a Star Trek point-and-click adventure game. Could not figure it out. Turn it off. Not only because I was just like, I can't figure this out. I have no idea what to do. It's not explaining anything. And because the baby was deciding it was time to just yell at the top of his lungs. I was like, all right, okay. All right, baby. Thank you, Roger. Jesus is the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. Anything that is truth, this is my philosophy, anything that is truth because God made it to be truth. If we think about truth, if we say Jesus is the truth, right? What does that mean? It doesn't mean that Jesus is some sort of like physical manifestation of truth, but it's saying that being truthful is an attribute that he had. All right. P Money says, my wife said your bread song is the silliest, cheesiest thing she's ever seen. She loves it. My daughter can't stop laughing. I'm glad. Watch it many times. Enjoy it. It used to have over 1,000 views back in the day before I nuked my old channel. Enjoy it. The song wasn't about grilled cheese. That's a good point, Mark. How is it the cheesiest? Now, here's what we're going to do. This one does not have a music video, but the song exists. So we're just going to journey over to this website where you can purchase these wonderful songs for a nominal fee. And we're going to listen to the song that has no music video. Scenes were filmed for it, but it was never produced. It's unfortunate. It's loading. This one is called Chicken Pot Pie.
Chicken pot pie, chicken pot pie, chicken pot pie,
Chicken pot pie.
chicken pot pie, chicken pot pie. The South was walking past some milk near the stir-fry mix. I let my eyes land on a tasty treat, a baked good, full meat. Chicken pot pie, you caught eye, you tasty dish. Ooh, Mitch. I took it home and I baked it up. Dope
Talk about chop, chop, chop.
1098 7654 321.
That's ding dong done.
Chicken pot pie. 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 I got a fork, nice and clean. I stuck it in, also mean. I put a
This one's the longest of the 3 songs available on the album, available for purchase.
chicken pot pie, chicken pot pie.
All right. If you want to hear the rest of it, you're going to have to go and download it. I mean, purchase that. Because you can't listen to things on Bandcamp without purchasing them. No, that's a lie. I want to tell the truth. The show's about the truth. You actually can. But I'll leave that for you. There's other songs available on there as well. There's an album called Dark Nebula with a bunch of amazing songs. Like Obama's America. We'll put that in the background. Amazing might be an overstatement. Okay. So are chicken pot pies and sandwiches your favorite foods? And that's why you wrote a song for them? No. I just wrote songs about them. There's no deeper meaning. Don't look for meaning. They're literally just stupid, silly songs. Why don't you just make a sandwich with chicken pot pie filling? Be one soupy sandwich. Wish this had a music video now? Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will. We'll see. If those videos get to 500 views by the end of the week, this weekend I will make a chicken pot pie music video. I was also working on a concept album of songs based on the Star Trek movies. But I only got like 2 in. So I gave up on that. On that dream. People find meaning in bananas duct taped to a wall. Don't tell us what to do. It's sort of like on the Office. I think it's when they're watching Michael Scarn, and Oscar says, I want to analyze it, but I know it has no meaning. Ridiculous. What are people saying? I saw chicken pot pies covered in peanut butter and jelly. Oh, you say that? I think you saw it at first. Oh my word, it's rancid. It's disgusting. I think people take themselves too seriously. Like these songs, people expect me to be embarrassed of them, as if it was some serious endeavor. I was striving to be the next big thing, the next big musical artist. I wasn't just trying to make a silly video. What is this? What is this link? Oh. Oh my word. If you can convince someone it's art, right? Aren't you embarrassed that you put videos of yourself on the internet dancing in a silly manner and singing a stupid song? Why would I be embarrassed? Who cares? Yeah, I checked it out. It's a banana duct taped to a wall. Ridiculous. That's the way the world goes, though. This one is called The Future is Bright, but it sounds just as ominous as Obama's America, because I didn't make these with anything in mind. I just made these songs, and then I was like, I'm going to name this Obama's America because I'm posting it on a conservative music website, and I want to get it featured on the front page. And it worked. Yay me! Yay me! People assigned the meaning to it, not based on what is actually there, but on what I told them to think. Congratulations, conservative music website that no longer exists. There was this initial wave. This is why, like, I rarely hold out hope for things change, for like these movements of, oh, we're gonna save comic books, we're gonna save fantasy novels from the SJWs, we're gonna save movies, because all this stuff happened in like 2011, 2012. Before that even. Basically after 2008. And nothing ever came of it. They all just failed. Fizzled out. Oh no. Lady says, these videos helped further my love of FlyFoxPro when we first met. See? So all you lonelies out there ain't got no wife, just make stupid videos singing about chicken pot pie and white bread. You too can be married. I too feel when I watch his music videos, I'm peering into his soul. Yes, they are deep, introspective pieces of art displaying my inner emotions about things. That's why one of the songs literally has something that got recorded because people ran into my room screaming while I was recording it. And I was like, you know what? That's art. I'm going to put this in the song. I'll put this part in the song. It's artistic. You know, I liked what I read in Tonic Mole's comics. And I'm glad that he has found the success that he has wanted in getting these funded and getting a little bit of an audience going. He's on number 4. I think I only read the first 2. Oops, missed one. But it kind of... he does a really good job of keeping it regular intervals and putting out comics on a regular basis. I mean, that's what, 4 in about a year? Congratulations, dude. Solid work. I'm not joking. Really good work. But it sort of illustrates my point in that independently funded comics nowadays they should have some sort of conclusion. When they're ongoing comics, I forget about them, man. Then or on 4, I missed 3. What do I gotta go. All right, I gotta go purchase 4 issues I missed. Yeah, but you can back the digital catch-up bundles, but it seems to me that it's better to just have the complete story for most situations. When FlyFox proposed, I was hesitant to say yes, but this is what P Money says Lady Vixen said, which we'll see if it's true. But then he's saying about chicken pot pie, and I knew he was the one. That's actually how it happened, believe it or not. Oh, we're going to listen to that one. This one's called Turn Hellhound Turn. Artistic because it's a Shakespeare reference. This is how it works. You just give it pretentious names, and people will think it's amazing pieces of art. Oh, so what is truth? That's the question, right? What is truth? Is it true that that's what happened the day proposed? No, I was joking. Oh, okay, so Mark's going to duct tape a bunch of grapes to a wall. It's been done, dude. Been done. So you got to actually convince people that you're a good artist, and then you can sell them crap. Which I think we've all learned from this comic book thing. You just got to convince people that your product is worth money, and then you can sell them whatever you want. That's how it works. You don't actually have to make a good product. You just have to convince them that it's good and get them dogmatically opposed to anyone that says anything else. Then you too can be a leftist. So the Grammys happened. I don't know who won anything. Don't care, because new music is all crap. All of it is garbage. And it's nothing but propaganda put on by people that are irrelevant and that you should not give your money to. There's a stack of comic book pages. Talk about finishing comics before you put them out. I mean, we got like We got close to a whole issue of a comic book here. If it was a single comic, I want there to be a complete satisfactory ending. Some sort of resolution. That's just a massive cliffhanger. That'd be terrible. Who's to say I'll ever put out another one? Perfect 10. What is this? I'm going to click on this. Better not be something bad. Better not be something bad. Never heard of this. Never seen this. Don't know what this is. Decent modern day artwork. Don't know anything about it. Hashtag not an endorsement. You know these people that like retweets are not an endorsement. People are that stupid nowadays. If you like a tweet or if you retweet something, you automatically agree with everything in it. I mean, this is the world where we have to constantly apologize for what we say. Oh, but I just want you to understand, I'm not a racist. Okay, this isn't I'm not saying this because I'm racist. I'm just saying this thing. Okay, the sky is blue. I'm not a racist, though. These constant apologies, these constant capitulating to these insane people. I just want you to know, I actually have Elephant Man friends. So I understand that you... Oh, you can't say that. You can't call people Elephant Men. No, it's actually a man who's an elephant. He actually... Sort of like a Spider-Man situation, except for he actually, like, not just powers, but he actually looks like an elephant now. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm not prejudiced in any way, except against those people who are prejudiced. No, that's not true, Hervé. They're all garbage. Yeah, constant apologies. Sorry. Didn't see you there. Sorry. Eh? Sorry about that, eh? Let's go over to Tim Hortons, eh? I'll buy you some poutine. I don't even think they sell poutine at Tim Hortons, but I'm just saying Canadian things. Eh? Tim Hortons, eh? Sorry about that. Sorry I did that. Didn't see you there, eh? Let's go over there, eh? Over to the Tim Hortons, eh? Buy you some coffee and a donut, eh? Oh, sorry about that. That's why I routinely don't justify what I say. I just want you to know. I just want you to know, guys. If you're worried about people canceling you, you're worried about whether or not people are going to. I understand if you're in a socialist country where you literally only have the rights that the government tells you have, and you've been oppressed for 200 years, while your neighbors to the south are free to say what they want and not have government interference. I understand. But here in the United States, what you worried about? Losing your job? Okay. That's the worst they can do. If you bring up Tim Hortons, you have used the term buying a double. You forgot to offer a twofer of beer. 2-4 of beer? This is a twofer. Let me know how to say it in Canadian parlance. You know, what does the accent sound like? And should I put these things in my mouth? I wish I could do a Quebec accent. I think they're hilarious. Quebecers. My word. Terrible French Canadians. What an embarrassment. What an embarrassing province. Is it a province or a territory? I don't know, because I don't care about Canada. Other than I love the people there. The people are great. They're so kind and friendly. Just kidding. I care about Canada. I want you guys to be free. Like Americans. So just, renounce the Queen and stop being socialists who elect idiots like Trudeau. How dare you? How dare you speak against our Prime Minister? You're sorry. P-Money's sorry. His autocorrect keeps correcting twofer. See? I knew it. It's going to be some weird Canadian thing. And I was right about how it was said. A. Or what were we talking about? I don't even remember at this point. You guys got me so distracted with all this nonsense about stuff that doesn't matter. We'll play one more song in the background. And then we'll stop playing these songs. This is probably my most original piece of work. Tufa. What is truth? That's right. What is truth? That which is in accord with reality. P. Money is sorry. He says Canada should sell the country to America, and as part of the payment, every Canadian gets $1 million. Just as long as you kick all of the socialists back to Europe where they belong. And as long as we don't have to take Montreal or Quebec, basically that whole area of Quebec. Or anywhere else there's socialists. We'll take you the good Canadians. Could you imagine being a Canadian right now? And you're a socialist and you're like, oh, Orange Man bad, eh? Can't believe they'd vote for Donald Trump to be president, eh? Oh, he brought a bunch of jobs to Canada as well as America, eh? Oh, I didn't know that, eh? Ah, but good thing they got rid of him, eh? He's terrible, eh? Orange Man bad, eh? Sorry about you electing Orange Man. That's terrible, eh? And then Biden gets elected, and all these Canadians are like, oh, good, eh? They got rid of that Donald Trump. He's terrible, I heard. And then Biden cancels the pipeline, and now you lost jobs and industry as well. And yet you continue to support these idiots. Not you specifically, okay? P-Money, I understand. Not all. Hashtag not all Canadians, eh? Yeah, no French Canadians. Got France in the name. We don't need that kind of, those violent revolutionaries that cut people's heads off in the guillotine and stuff. That ain't what we're about. Here's another thing, my fellow Americans. Don't buy into the British propaganda of calling it the Revolutionary War. So war for independence. The American War for Independence. This isn't the same situation as like a violent revolution in France where suddenly the peasants rise up and start killing people, executing them in the town square. Oh, you fed Marie Antoinette cake one time. Off with your head. Or like some sort of communist revolution where suddenly you're breaking into the palace and kidnapping little girls and killing them and throwing their bodies in mass graves where they're buried, shooting them in the back of the head and stuff. This wasn't a revolution. It was a war for independence. Little tip for you. Yeah. Prairies, Canada is basically Texas, if you didn't know. I believe it. You just need to convince more of your compatriots to stop pretending like their rights are derived from the government and not from being given to them by God. Honestly, I was thinking about this earlier today. This idea of liberty. And the American system of government, which really didn't go anywhere else. You have systems that sort of halfway are like it. Like the Mexican Constitution pretends to have freedoms involved in it. But in practicality, it's just they don't actually let people exercise those freedoms. So like the Mexican Constitution is a federal presidential constitutional republic. Sound familiar? And there are some, but they don't, in the way that they work out, they don't actually have those freedoms because then they just let people implement these laws that circumvent those and take away their freedoms. Like, technically in Mexico, they have the right to bear arms, but then they put all these restrictions on them. How is that the right to bear arms? Let's see, the Mexican Constitution, guns. Let's just look it up here. Firearms regulations. Constitutional rights. The original text of the Constitution of 1857 says every man has the right to keep and carry arms for his security and legitimate defense. The law will indicate which arms are prohibited and penalty for those who would carry them. Oh, so we get to tell you which ones. They baked it right into it. Set themselves up for failure. Then, Constitution of 1917, the inhabitants of the United Mexican States are free to possess weapons of any kind for their security and legitimate defense. Same thing, right? With exception of those expressly prohibited by law, and that the nation reserves for the exclusive use of the Army, Navy, and National Guard. But they may not carry them within populations without being subject to police regulations. You see, they started to add these things on because they didn't want people to actually, defend themselves with the arms against the government. The inhabitants of the United Mexican States, this is reform to Article 10 in 1971. The inhabitants of the United Mexican States have the right to keep arms in their homes. What? Arms in their homes? Didn't the language used to say keep and possess arms? Why would they change the language? Right to keep and carry arms is what it used to say. And then possess. Now it's in their homes for security and legitimate defense. With the exception of, we get the point. Those prohibited by federal law and those reserved for the exclusive use of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and National Guard. Federal law will determine the cases, conditions, requirements, and places in which the carrying of arms will be authorized to the inhabitants. How's that working out for you, Mexico? How's that working out for you? Your criminal population kept in check there? Afraid of the citizen? No, what? No. Oh, you have violent cartels that murder and kidnap people all the time, and you can't do anything about them? Oh, okay. The Mexican Constitution is to their country what Taco Bell is to their food. The reality is Mexico tried to be a legitimate constitutional republic, but they had crappy dictator leaders and rebels and such that inspired people to give up their rights. Silliness. Well, with the way North America is going, we are all going to lose to China anyway. That's a defeatist attitude if I ever heard of it. Wow, pessimist much? My word. See, here's the thing. Yes, China is terrible, evil government. Hashtag not all Chinese people. See, this is where people be like, I'm going to apologize for saying China and not specifically pointing out that it's the CCP. Okay. Clearly evil, committing genocide, unless you're Justin Trudeau, and then it's like, well, we don't want to offend. I know that we know that you're committing genocide, but I don't want to say it, But China actually can't even grow its own food. They import a ton of food. And they have a terrible time growing their own food. They need people outside of their country. Yes, they've taken some industry, but if people start asserting themselves and stop, you know what? We want an extra 500 mil for our films. Just make cheaper films and, good films, and people will still go and see them, and you won't have to get that extra 500. Well, we need the extra 500 mil profit, you see. Oh, but you You made a huge giant blockbuster to cater to China, and it cost you $250 million. I'm saying you could make a movie for much less, a better movie, and still make the profit on it of like $500 million if it was good. People would go see it here in the United States. And in free countries where, where they don't forcibly sterilize people in the regions where you're making your movie.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes. Hold on.
That's fine. With the pork chop poppers things that we did,
Mm-hmm.
will the marinade work without the popper stuff? Do you think?
If there's suitable side dishes.
Okay.
And if regulations put in place on businesses went away, you ease those back. You didn't force people to artificially inflate what they're paying their workers that don't bring in that much money. Imagine, if you will, you own a small business. You own a small business, a little restaurant. You have maybe, 30, 50 customers a day. Maybe on a real busy day, 100 customers. And you've got employees, and suddenly the minimum wage is $15. You're like, holy crap, I can't afford this. We have to pay for food. I have to pay your cook and a waiter and a busboy. Or the waiter or waitress is going to have to clear the table themselves. Do we have a hostess, or is that like a split thing with the waitress? Oh, just sit down wherever, honey. They're not bringing, and not enough money is coming in per hour to pay for everything. You're like, well, I probably should just close my business because I can't afford your $15 an hour minimum wage. It's absurd. Absurd. Stop regulating businesses. Let businesses and industry come back here and make it cost effective. Make their actual benefits to having your production here. And then maybe you wouldn't have a bunch of Chinese crap. I'm sure it's more complicated than I'm making it out, but I'm an American. Say what I want. Still hard to imagine that the most profitable movie ever is The Blair Witch Project. Never seen it. Twitter? If it's not at the very tippy top of my Twitter when I go in there to clear out the notifications and see if there were any messages worth looking at, which there rarely are. If you add me to a group thing on Twitter, there's about a 0% chance I'm going to read anything in there other than maybe the first time I click on it. I'm like, okay, this is nothing that has any relevance to me. And I get added to these things and I don't want to be in them. And then I get out of them and then suddenly I'm added again. And I'm like, what is this? I don't want to be in here. Welcome, Mega Man, Maniac, McGee, Games, Movies, and Comics R Us, not Nigel, RTL. Welcome to the show. That's why I just want to call you Nigel, even though you said not to, is because I just want to stick with one name to call you. But you love changing your name so much. This new one doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, Oh, you better not have jalapeno milk. I see like a bunch of my friends leave a room and I'm like, or friends, people that are online that I talk to. Friends. Just kidding. Friends that leave? Yeah, you're all my friends. And I'm suddenly like, oh, what did I miss? Why do we hate this group now? Is this a group I should hate? Tell me, culture, what I should hate and who I should disavow this week. Who should I disavow this week? Who is it? Let me know. I want to cancel people. Speaking of canceling people, got this in the mail today. Otis Stein from Skinny. And it came with this. Whoever made this propaganda piece about anti-sports propaganda. Ridiculous. Look at this. It's like a little tract like you'd see on a phone booth. Anti-sports propaganda. Ridiculous. Mines. Social media, pretty much, I hate social media in toto. I hate all social media. Social media used to be this place where you saw pictures of what your friends were doing, and like, oh, I'm getting married, I'm engaged. Oh, like you all get out of high school and like, I want to see what this person is doing. I like this person in high school. Let me follow them. And then it just became everybody's political opinions and memes and total garbage. It's like, oh, I'm going to get on Twitter. People say funny things. They tell me what they're doing during their day and they post pictures of things. Nope. That's ruined. Nothing but memes and political opinions. Oh, Instagram, that'll be great. I'm just going to follow people on there and they'll show me what they're doing during the day. I'll see cute pictures of their dogs and when they went out for a camping trip in the woods or to Disneyland. Oh, no, memes and political opinions. Oh, okay. All right. I never got paid $15 an hour for my film reviews. Minimum wage is a fallacy. It's true. What? Hashtag that Nigel movie guy. I don't want to. No, I'm not going to cancel you, Jalapeno Milk. You have all the spice, but none of the taste, right? Why should I cancel that? That's my favorite thing ever. I don't cancel people. I'm sorry. For people that want me to cancel people or like disavow. I don't disavow people. I will block people though. It's up to the mods what they want to do. As long as people are reasonable. You did give up the name though. There you go. 300 seconds. That's the limit of your power. Well, Roger acted. Wasn't me. I disavow the actions of this rogue mod. It's like, oh, this person's terrible. You must disavow all mosquitoes like this person. Oh, wait, you weren't comparing a person to mosquitoes. You were just saying disavow mosquitoes in general. Okay, sorry, P-Money, I misunderstood. Why? You said you disagree with them on something? They gotta be canceled? I don't have an interest in that. What is this? Was this a text message? What am I being canceled? Yep. Oh my word. Haven't gone to this community college in years, but they want to tell me all of their little updates. Oh, you've never even been to this campus, but it's locked down today, or the computers are down, so just know. The computers are down. I don't go to your stupid community college, man. All taste and none of the flavors. Sorry, or maybe vice versa. I apologize now. Yeah, hey, guest that was named that Nigel movie guy. You're very welcome here. As long as you don't disrupt things. A little strange, though. Because they don't believe you're the real one. I don't know. There was a wasp's nest right against my house. I had no problem disavowing it with my gasoline and matches. Yikes. Community colleges have good parties? If you say so, man. I've only gone to, well, it's not necessarily true. The majority of my time at a community college was spent as someone who's already in the military and out of it. Or at least in reserve status. So I wasn't involving myself with the shenanigans of 18, 19-year-olds. Just saying. It's like, if you are associated with somebody, you must automatically hold all of their opinions. And you must agree with everything they say, or else we'll bother you. So we're on the internet. We have power over you. I can just leave the internet. I can just stop. Go away. What was that like? Somebody was being cyberbullied? How is cyberbullying a thing? Just turn off the... Well, who said that? How is cyberbullying real? Let's see, who was that tweet? Somebody like... So how is cyberbullying real? Just turn off the internet. Just stop. I think we all... I mean... As I say this, as I sit here pontificating, but we all have this idea that we need to be heard, and our voices are really, really important. I just need to be on Twitter. People are going to cancel me. And then you get these lolcows that, I agree, defend yourself. I don't see there's anything wrong with defending yourself from things, but at the same time, if people are just gonna crap all over everything you do, and it's not fun to be involved with anymore, what's the point of doing it? If it gets to the point where someone actually feels like I am legitimately harmed emotionally by this relentless attack on my person, but in general, I just don't. I really just don't. I don't agree with the cancel culture mentality of that everyone seems to have. Not everyone, but a lot of people seem to have. There's far more horrible things in this world than someone calling you a mean name or trolling you on the internet. Now, I'm not saying that those things can't be hurtful, hurt our feelings or those things, but there's far more horrible things in the world, like China forcibly sterilizing an ethnic minority group within their country and killing them for their organs. That's pretty terrible. That's a pretty horrible thing. So truth. What is truth? That's the question, right? Because it was such a big deal. This, alternative facts, liars. But as soon as my administration is in, you can't question them. They're on our side. We can't question them. And then if it attacks the other side, we'll post whatever we want to harm them. For the Washington Post, we're going to post these fraudulent quotes that Trump supposedly said to someone that we don't have any proof of. But it damages him. Might damage his reputation or his image. So publish those bad boys. Get those bad boys out there. The tape, the audio of the phone call recorded. All they had to do was release it, and it contradicts everything we said, and yeah, we're liars. And Nixon also took us off the gold standard. Here's the thing people don't realize is that everybody makes stupid decisions. Every president has done dumb things. even the ones we like. Because not everybody is going to agree with your policy, what you think should be done. And here's the deal. There is far more on these guys' plate. This is why no one should have ever voted for Joe Biden. As soon as he started going up there and flubbing his words and saying stupid things and just melting away like, don't vote for Trump. Don't vote for Bush, George, the guy. Shouldn't have voted for him because it's such a huge monumental job. Think about how old these people look after 4 years, except for Trump. He looks the exact same, which is crazy. But you look at George Bush or Barack Obama and they're in their 40s and they get elected and suddenly they look like they're 82 because of the stress. If you've ever had a really, really stressful job or a really, really stressful situation, you know how much it can, of a toll it can take on your body where suddenly you look like you've aged overnight and you've got all this gray hair going on. You're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? But we voted for this ancient, decrepit old man to lead what was one of the most powerful nations in the history of the world. And he's so obviously not mentally capable of doing the job that they don't allow him to take questions. How embarrassing is it going to be when he actually finally takes questions? And then your own party is like, hey man, I know that it's kind of your thing as the commander in chief, but you need to relinquish those powers to us because you're a decrepit old man who is clearly nuts. Live your truth is the most crazy thing I've seen lately. There's only one truth, right? This is the thing. And it goes back to this idea. It's not a new thing. This postmodernism that crept in the mid 20th century. You had modernism before that, and he had existentialism and all these romanticism ideas of really interpreting things by your feelings and what you feel inside, and that's the ultimate. Then you had modernism, which is exemplified in something like Star Trek, like technology and advancement and philosophy is going to usher in this utopia. But at the same time that Star Trek was coming out, all these French intellectuals were like, postmodernism. There is no such thing as truth. You can't know anything to be true. You can't know anything. Well, it's the mob, right? I don't know if you ever watched. So Matt C brings up a good point, which I'll address here. So we'll get back to the postmodernism thing in a second. But he says, I'm starting to think that the mainstream media is the actual political party in charge, not the Dems and not the GOP. Here's the thing. We've gotten to a point where the people, right? Like, you ever watch Gladiator and you have Derek Jacobi, Senator Gracchus, I think is his name, the character's name. He says, the power of Rome isn't the Senate. It's the mob. It's the people. You give them bread, basically give them bread and circuses. As long as you appease them, they're going to be on your side. Well, now the people are wielding the power of social media, the power of the mainstream media, and pressuring all of these corporations into putting pressure on these leaders to do their bidding. So is the mainstream media in charge? Only so long as it continues to have power, but who's to say how much longer that will be? When you see their blatant propaganda pieces, not all of them, but something like the Grammys, when you see it drop by 50%, when you see declining ratings and the most popular sports in the world, these huge corporations that make tons of money, and they're like, well, we're going to push our propaganda. And they start to decline in ratings. Now, is that going to continue to the point where they change their ways? Probably not. But it may diminish their influence. It may allow for other good things, good quality products to come in and supplant them. And the reality is that most of the time when these alternative industries crop up, they don't come in and make a substantially better or equal to, in terms of quality, a better product. They don't. Most of it is garbage. Most of it is not good. It's subpar. And they don't see the project through. I think that this alternative media source had a huge blow when Andrew Breitbart died. So Andrew Breitbart had this, was on the forefront of creating this new media and pushing it forward into new places. And when he died, Breitbart's influence as a company, as a website, it just started to go down to the point where then you had all these factions and they couldn't keep it together. And I think it set everybody back 5 years to the point where now we're just regrouping to be like, you know what? Maybe we should be impacting the culture a little bit more with good quality products. Not with let's support these guys because they sort of believe in the same things as us. So let's support them. And that'll be our marketing place. We sort of almost agree with you until it's not beneficial anymore. And then we'll just change our opinions and you're expected to come along because you don't actually hold the beliefs that you say for any good philosophical or religious reason. You just sort of don't like the other side. So postmodernism starts, right? These ideas of, well, you can't know what truth is, therefore truth is how you interpret these things, right? You see through the lens of your worldview. And there's truth to that, right? Because you're always seeing things through your lens, but it doesn't mean that you can't know truth. Just because you have a worldview that you look at something through doesn't mean you can't interpret those facts correctly and come to know the truth. Postmodernism says this. And then there's these ideas that all get sort of melded together where you have this new postmodern Disney ethic, I call it. That's believe in yourself. Believe that you have the truth within yourself. You determine your truth. You determine what is right. If you just believe in your heart and trust that that's going to lead you to the right place, then you're good to go. You'll save the day. You'll be the hero or the heroine. I don't think Hervoget ever sleeps, to be honest with you, Matt C. This Disney ethic it's everywhere. It's been everywhere for 40 years or more. But predominantly in the last 40 years was when it really started to get bad. You started to see the signs as they crept in, like the loss of a meritocracy where everyone's getting a participation trophy. Everyone's getting a participation trophy. And, we're not giving out a trophy for best player. Oh, but didn't you have a best player? Yeah, we did, but we can't say that. We can't say that. It's Little League Baseball. Come on. Everyone gets a participation trophy. I don't remember who handed me my participation trophies for playing in Little League Baseball when I was a kid. Don't know. I don't remember who it was. Don't remember what they looked like. I'm sure it was one of the coaches. I think we had a party at Peter Piper Pizza. Don't know. That's the truth. I think we at least had one there. But I do remember when I won first place in a pumpkin pie eating contest. I remember who handed me the ribbon. Because I got first place. I won an award. I actually won. Matt C. says, meta-modernism is where we're currently at, in my opinion. We left postmodernism with Gen X. Now different factions are building arbitrary order from the chaos. I don't think it's past postmodernism because when they are pressed on it, they espouse it. So it's maybe an outgrowth of it. I'd have to read more about it, but I don't think that once the culture as en masse accepted postmodernism, unless they repent of it, it's still postmodernism. So they've grown up with this idea of postmodernism because all of those artists from in the last 40 years started to shift towards postmodernism, right? Deconstructing everything. You can't know what truth is. So that's been the art for that long. Again, I haven't read about meta-modernism or anybody's works talking about the new mindset, but this is just what I think. So you have all these people growing up in this postmodern perspective where they just accept these things as truths, ironically, right? They accept it as an axiom that you can't know truth. That's their philosophical basis. You can't know what is true. But at the same time, they act on all the principles of postmodernism, right? If such a thing could be said. Redefining words, reading their own meaning into things, interpreting things based on what's convenient for them. And it's the natural outgrowth of what postmodernism is. So maybe that's what metamodernism is. I don't know. But you have this new status quo where, ironically, everybody knows exactly what they think is true, and they will fight for it and cancel you for it. But then they'll say, well, we can't know what's true. If you press something, well, how do we know what's true? Cool, Nighthawk. What do you have in pork chop? Nice applesauce too? I just think that the modern society growing up in this postmodern world that's telling them that, the truth is found within you, your interpretation of things, which you believe is what's true. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And people want to call the modern, millennials or the people that come after them snowflakes. And they want to say, they just get triggered. Those people are militant. Those age groups are militant. You don't need to post that one, Hervoge. No one is ever going to buy anything from that. So there's no need to ever post it again, to be honest with you. But thank you. I thank you for the effort. All-time sales, $0 for any of that work. Let's see. Matt C. says SJWism is a meta-modern because it was very firm. It has very firm presuppositions, strong axioms beyond postmodern. Deconstructs the present to build a very particular future. Yeah, it's his bastardized future, but it still holds to the idea that it's fluid. Right? They might have strong axioms for the moment, but they're not rooted in, they're rooted in postmodernism. And so therefore it's always in flux. See, I don't think it merits its own concrete philosophical description because it's constantly in change. It's constantly changing based on whatever the cultural push is. It doesn't have, it claims to have strong axioms. It claims to have strong beliefs, but as soon as those are not in vogue, they're gone. They're not allowed. So yes, in the moment, that moment, whatever the truth is according to them at that moment, maybe that's what metamodernism says. Again, I didn't read it, so I don't know. But I don't think it merits its own philosophical descriptive word. I think it's just the bastard child of postmodernism, and then we can blame most of the stuff for that. Here's the bottom line, is none of this is actually new. There's new ways to say it, but these same issues are things that previous cultures were having to deal with, previous generations were having to deal with. Go back and read some of the things. Can I get a scholarly source? Click on go down to the bottom and click on some citations here. The apocalypse, what is this? Here's Wikipedia. It says metamodernism is a proposed set of developments in philosophy, aesthetics, and culture which emerge from and react to postmodernism. Yeah. I don't know, man. I still think I still think that philosophically they're operating on some of those anyways. Draw Anything, what's up? Thank you for popping in. Oh yeah, how'd your speech go? Was that today? Strong feelings but weak positions. That's why they have to frame everything according to 1945, because they can only go to the absolute in an attempt to articulate their position. Yeah, because here's the thing. There had to be some sort of outgrowth from postmodernism because it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable philosophy. You can't say, when you're based on a paradoxical statement, such as you can't know truth, and that's your starting basis for your philosophy, is that you can't know what is true or not. You can't, that's not a sustainable philosophy. And so they've now come to this place where, yes, we're taking these tenets of postmodernism. Awesome. It went very well and didn't mess up. Congratulations, Draw Anything. I'm proud of you, man. They're taking these tenets and determining and interpreting truth for themselves. And then, like Matt C. points out, they have strong beliefs. I don't want to call them axioms, because they're constantly changing. They're in constant change. He says, he quotes something, the postmodern culture of relativism, irony, and pastiche is over, having been replaced by post-ideological condition that stresses engagement, effect, and storytelling, which are still... Yeah, I appreciate it. I still think those are points of postmodernism, right? This idea of the narrative, of the storytelling, right? Controlling the narrative, who controls that narrative? What are they saying? What's underlying their conditions? That's all represented in things like Black Lives Matter and all of this philosophical. Because when I say Black Lives Matter, I'm not saying the idea that people who are descended from Africa matter. That's not what I'm referring to. Just for anybody that's watching this now, I'm referring to the actual philosophical underpinnings of the movement that is called Black Lives Matter, which is an actual organization. Ridiculous. Anyways, those things, they're still an outgrowth of the postmodern ideas. Engagement, effect, and storytelling. I still, if I'm understanding those correctly from your one little quote, it seems to me like those are just parts of postmodernism minus the cool things about postmodernism, like irony and pastiche. But then you still have these people that are like, I'm going to deconstruct it. It's all about deconstruction. I'm going to subvert the tropes. I'm Ryan Johnson. I'm going to subvert the tropes, baby. I'm going to subvert them. They're still thinking in that mentality. So I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe postmodernism is over, but its bastard child is here for sure. BLM, and we accept no deviation. Is it much of a position to take? It's so broad a consideration. It's boring. Sure. Right. So postmodernism, it could not continue to exist as a philosophical basis, and everybody saw that, because as soon as they said anything, they're like, no, true for you. You can't affect change that way. And so that's when they had to sort of change and become this weird position of all of these tenets of postmodernism. Oh, you determine things based on how you think, what you perceive as reality is real. And you can't know outside of yourself. I mean, what is the transgender issue if not an outgrowth of postmodernism? You can't, biological truth means nothing. Your self-determination means something. That is the truth, is what you self-identify as. Your self-determination. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, as long as it's true for you. It comes back to this idea of what is truth. Right. So postmodernism didn't provide a way to build things back. It didn't have anything beyond deconstruction. And so then people came along and they deconstruct the deconstruction. And now you have these quasi-modernist perspectives, but they're not even, I don't want to describe them as that because they're not based in fact. They're dogmatic. This is a good description. They are dogmatic. They're dogmatic philosophical movements rooted in postmodern thought. That's the way I would describe them. There's no room for error. As long as they define what they say, and which is constantly changing. They're dogmatic about whatever they're saying right at that moment. And it doesn't matter what they said before, because what is truth, right? It doesn't matter what they're going to say tomorrow, right? We see this in Vice Chairman, the Carmel Canadian Kamala Harris. You see it in her, right? She says Joe Biden is evil and all of this stuff. And then she says, I was trying to get elected. I was trying to get the presidential nomination. Holy crap. What's true for 1 minute? I mean, are you just liar? Are you just a liar? Yeah, of course. It's the result of philosophy and power now rather than just fighting the power in the 60s. Sure. I mean, you have to fight about what's happening now. You can't go back and say like, oh, look, the postmoderns did this or that. It's fun. It's interesting to talk about and see the roots of it, to understand where this all came from now. I think it's important to see that. Because these organizations, they recognized, the philosophical basis of just saying, no, you can't know anything for sure. You can't know truth, leads to some sort of anarchy, right? But these people believe in seizing power, controlling people. They don't want people to be anarchists. Some of them do. But they want to be like communist anarchists, because that's a thing, I guess. I'm an anarcho-communist. What? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you can just watch. It's an anarchy. So isn't anarchy, I mean, if it's like, anarchy just means you can hold on to your property as long as you have force behind you. Stupid. Anyways. But it comes back to this idea of what is truth, right? That's what this episode is about. That's why I keep coming back to it. They define what's truth. So the moment that they define it, that's truth. Kamala Harris can bash Joe Biden and say how terrible he is, and then turn around and accept the vice chairman nomination. Because she can just define what's true at that moment. And she can say, no, honestly, I thought at that moment, but then I just redefine what I think is true. So they can't actually build ideas. They can't actually build anything off of these ideas because it leads to some sort of anarchy. No, that's not a slip, dude. Purposeful. Yeah, it's not, wouldn't slip. It's purposeful language. Barry Goldwater, that's who we blame. I do think that the more libertarian-minded people are wrong. Yeah, I have not. I mean, Chairman Biden and Vice Chairman, the Carmel Canadian Kamala Harris. Let's be honest about the situation. They are seeking to create a one-party system. The thing about conservatives, and this is what, like, I'm not in 100% agreement with conservative thought or libertarian thought or anything like this. I am my own person. And it's like, generally the things that I want advocated for are advocated by this one party, and the other one is devoid of any moral or ethical sanity. So I tend to go that one way, right? In terms of politics. But generally, conservatives want to conserve things. The idea is that they want to conserve the rule of law. They believe in things like the rule of law. They believe that there should be limited laws and those laws should be enforced, and that they should be centered around things like actually protecting people's rights, not creating new rights, not creating new privileges and then calling them a right and saying, well, everyone has to pay these taxes so that everyone can have health care, which includes abortions, gender reassignment surgery, and yes, your tax dollars will pay for this, or else you're a bigot. So they want to create this one-party system. So Mitch McConnell says years ago, he says, if you get rid of the filibuster on judges, you're going to regret it. So they got rid of the filibuster on judges to get through Obama's nominees, and then Trump got to nominate 3 justices. Now they want to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate altogether, thinking that they're going to succeed by bringing in Puerto Rico and absolutely going against what the Constitution says, that Washington, D.C. will not have representation. And then they're going to create this one-party system, thinking that it's going to succeed. But politics change. Movements change. And to maintain that grasp on your one-party system, you have to then start oppressing people. Are you willing to go all the way and become the CCP? Are you willing to become a system of government that oppresses its people? Because that's how one-party systems are maintained. Otherwise, you get voted out. It doesn't just work, we're going to have this super majority forever. Then you don't. All right. Matt C says, I'm whatever party best allows people to freely receive the gospel. Libertarianism with Bill of Rights seems best. I don't think it stops at that. Because if we just accept libertarianism, then you're still going to face ethical problems when it comes to what laws get passed, right? It sounds nice, but I don't think it works in practicality. When you start going down that philosophical route, saying I'm a Christian libertarian, not saying you're saying this, but I'm a Christian libertarian or something, I don't think it's sustainable. There's certain justifications that I don't think you can make and maintain those principles. So why call yourself a libertarian? Basically, for me, it would be like, why call myself a libertarian? Because there are certain things that I believe that would align with libertarianism, and there's other ones where like, no, I'm sorry. All right, let's see. Ben Draw Anything says, I highly recommend the Ben Shapiro book called Bullies. I'm reading it right now, and he goes into the bullying tactics the left uses to silence conservatives. Maybe. There's so many books I've got already. It's like I don't know that I want to read that one. There's so many books I need to read. Matt C wants me over here to learn all about a new philosophy. Oh, jeez. I also think there is, you're right. So jalapeno milk is exactly, he has expressed the sentiment, which I would, I'm not saying that a libertarian system would be worse than what's happening now. I'm saying it wouldn't be ideal. I don't think it would be ideal. So Matt C wants to pull out the Reformed card. Let's see what he says. Being Reformed leads me to think that none of these state rules matter without the gospel anyways. So here's my thing. I'm actually, I see that's the thing. I think there needs to be a discussion about what is ideal. And it's a huge, long conversation. But when I think it comes down to it, I think there's a fundamental in how libertarianism in the, you can look at the origins of it. You can look at the people that espouse it today. I don't think they can justify. Now, some of them will make arguments for it, but I don't think they can justify things like laws against abortion. I think to be a consistent libertarian, you have to side with the bodily rights of the person whom the child is growing in. And so I think to be a consistent libertarian, you have to be pro-abortion. It's just I could be wrong. So there's other things other than that I would say, no, that is going to cause an issue in society. And I think there ought to be a law. So I'm not a John Stossel, where suddenly I'm like, oh, geez, now I'm a radical libertarian. I used to advocate for laws. Right. I don't have all the answers, man. I'm not some philosophical politician. And I don't have all the politics of, philosophy of politics down. I'm not an expert in that. So I don't have some great answer for you. I do know that like Matt C is saying, I think that the most free that I want to be is to preach the gospel unimpeded. And the reality is that to some degree, the only place where you're free to do that and protected, your rights are protected to some degree, is the United States of America. And people say, oh, we have freedom of speech here. We have freedom of speech here. But you have pastors being arrested in these countries that claim, no, I know that there are Christian libertarians who are pro-life. And they have their philosophical arguments for it. I'm saying I don't think you're going to convince an unconverted population of libertarians to be pro-life, is more what I'm saying. Believe me, Matt C., I've interacted with these people. Not very much because I don't like to, but I've read a lot and heard a lot what they have to say. And I've heard lots of other people pontificate on how Christians should interact with governments that I don't agree with, including people I've been associated with. That if anyone ever asked me bluntly in those times, I answered honestly, and I think I've been consistent. But let's see, what was I saying? I don't remember. Right, I'm not some great political philosopher. I'm not an expert in that, and I don't claim to be. Just know what I think. I think generally, here's the thing. I think generally, we ought to try to conserve the American system of government and not bring radical changes. I don't see the disagreement that we're having here. Agreed. That's why I'm thinking the gospel is more effective. Winky face. The gospel is more effective when? Are you saying it's more effective in general? I don't think it's more effective under any system, but I don't think that's what you're saying. Yeah. What I want is religious freedom above all. And to preserve religious freedom, there has to be a few key fundamental rights that are protected. The freedom of speech and to keep and bear arms. Because if you give up one of those, or either, if you give up both of those, well, then you're screwed. There's no freedom of religion anymore. And if you don't have guns, to protect your rights to religious freedom, then you don't have it. They're going to take it away. They're going to take it away. You know, what I think there's this crazy thing in the world where people recognize that the state is evil and that people are evil, and inevitably the state becomes evil. Basically, no matter what. So a system of checks and balances and making it super hard to pass legislation is a good way to prevent evil from happening. Having devolved powers. You having these state constitutions that also say, these are your rights, and we're willing to back them up. This is one of the reasons why the Civil War happened, because the states provide some sort of justification for this. It's stupid. Racism is evil. Chattel-based slavery is wrong and evil. American chattel slavery was wrong and evil. The Civil War disrupted some of that balance, right? Where now people are almost unwilling to fight the federal government, and they were for about 100 years. Now they're starting to push back on some of the overreach from the federal government. But that system of government, putting the power in as many hands as possible, creating the system of checks and balances, provides a way for that evil to be checked. And you see around the world where people will say things like, you know, when a government takes the guns from its people, that's bad. You know, that's how they get power and how they keep it and how they can oppress their people. And even Gandhi said that it was a dark day in India or something. The blackest day in India was when the Indians were deprived of their weapons. Johnny thinks says a big part of my speech today was emphasizing how important freedom of speech is in this country. So I hope that message got through to my fellow students. Yeah, hopefully, man. So I want the gospel to be preached, much like Matt C. here, our friend Matt C. I want the gospel to be preached. And I would gladly pay more taxes for roads if it meant that I got to keep preaching the gospel. The issue with some, and this isn't all libertarians, but you start to get this weird mixture of libertarianism and this like anarcho-capitalist mentality. Where they're like, oh, we don't need cops either. We just need judges. Who's going to compel these people to go before the judges? Officers employed by the court. Ooh, yikes. So the same people who are going to judge you are the ones who investigate and bring the charges? Well, no, there needs to be a separate, well, I guess they should be separate. So maybe like an executive branch or something. Oh, okay. So you do believe that there should be some sort of law enforcement officer that's job is. Oh, but I don't think they should be out patrolling things. Oh, so what then? They just respond from like a central location? How many of these central locations do you need? Isn't it better to have them around where the crime might happen so that they can get there in time to investigate and maybe, catch the criminal before they get away? So you start getting into these weird avenues where they're like, well, I don't believe that there should be this. There should just be officers of the court that's job is once the charges have been brought, and it's on the people to be responsible for bringing their own charges. It's probably going to end before he get back or anything, but there'll be another one, hopefully, Lord willing. So once you start getting into libertarianism, you start running into this like mentality where it's we're not going to have these governmental officers. We're just going to go strictly by this idea of judges, and they're over a certain area, or we're going to have this very limited government. We start getting rid of these things, and they become really anti reason when it comes to what is this in functionality? How does it work? How does it work? How do you have a system of governments? What does it mean to have a system of government in the modern era with this huge population? How do you employ people? Is it that if you want to bring a charge against someone, well, then you have to, we're just going to make it so that, you have to pay. There's privately contracted investigators, that work with people to investigate a crime, get the evidence, and then bring that charge to the magistrate. Is that how it's going to work? So then we just get rid of all taxes, and so people are going to have enough money to do that? I don't think that's how it works. I honestly don't think that's how it works in a society like today. And so that's why I think there's not enough answers to these questions. We will have pre-crime for social justice infractions. True, thought crime will not be tolerated. So what is truth? I think the truth is that things are hard, and that there aren't any easy answers, right? Didn't we talk about that a couple days ago? No easy solutions. No easy answers. Things need to be thought through. And with the amount of time that we spend scrolling through Twitter and Facebook to look for something interesting, right? Or Instagram, or whatever your social media crack of choice is, could be spent doing something more productive. If you haven't seen my video on why video essays suck, I haven't seen my video essay on why video essays suck. Some of the ideas in that correlate to this, right? We have this consumer mentality, not this creator or investor mentality, right? If I invest in something, or I'm interacting with a piece of work, it might be worthwhile. But the things that we're interacting with so often that people want to interact with, like how many people are wanting to go and I'm going to be a YouTuber that makes videos about this deep philosophy, and I'm going to do a bunch of research into it and have a well-researched. No, they want to be a vlogger, man. They want to make easy money and be funny and cool and hip. Matt C says, basically, if most Americans are postmodern and the state is postmodernism, you can't really stop anything, even abortion, without just blunt power or the gospel. Preach the gospel and use words. Don't be an Aquinas. Don't be an idiot like Aquinas. The gospel is communicated through words. Can't communicate the gospel through actions. It's stupid. You can live in light of the gospel and act in accord with the truth of the gospel, but that's not preaching the gospel. It requires words. Okay, so welcome, Gary Shipman. We're just wrapping up, actually. I forgot what I was saying. I'm so disrupted by things. I honestly forgot what I was saying. I'm sure it was really, really interesting and amazing. Honestly, I have no idea. If you guys haven't, you should back Titan 2 Electric Boogaloo on Indiegogo. It's not actually what it's called. That's How the Mighty Have Fallen is the subtitle of that. Also, Gary Shipman has a coloring book on Kickstarter. I believe it's still up there. And you should, if you like cool coloring books, be a nice one to have. And if you didn't back his comic, you definitely should. Also, for those who didn't know, there's a second chance to get this book, Otis Stein, on Kickstarter.
Can you help me? Thank you.
Yeah, hide all the evidence. What were we talking about? I honestly forgot what my train of thought was because Matt C keeps talking. Things aren't easy. That's what it was. Things aren't easy. And yes, I remember now. 6 days left in the Titan coloring book. If Hervoge, I could throw that link in the chat, that'd be great. I remember what I was saying. Oh, there. Speak of the Hervoge, and he will appear. Don't just be a consumer. And I mean that, like, don't just go to these things for amusement, right? To be amused. Be an engager. Engage with these things. Think about them critically. And don't just consume them and then regurgitate those things, but be someone who is creating. You can comment on things. Obviously, it's a little tongue-in-cheek to make a video essay about why video essays suck and why they're stupid and why people shouldn't do them, why they're dumb. Obviously, a little tongue-in-cheek. People, I mean, I get comments on there that like take it super serially, and I'm like, man, eat some Cheerios, dude. Get off the internet. You're taking it way too seriously. But the idea is that you have this generation of consumers. We're consuming the content of other people. That's all we do is consume. And then we're just regurgitating other people's material. I saw a funny meme. I'm going to share it. I saw somebody else do a meme like this. I'm going to share. I'm going to make one like it. Recycling things, recycling all this stuff. And then all of the deeper work gets pushed more to this academic place, to this place of the people who are activists, who are then impacting the original work that's going out. And if you're just regurgitating the work of yesterday without quality, without realizing that art has meaning, you're saying things whether you think you are or not. And if you're just trying to make some neutered piece of art devoid of what is true and beautiful, then your art is going to be neutered and it's not going to be good, in my opinion. So be bold. And don't just spend your time regurgitating and consuming. Don't just scroll through Facebook or Twitter looking for a fight to get in. Log off, pick up a book, and read a book. Get off Twitter and Facebook. Realize that all it is an algorithmically, there we go, that's a word, generated dopamine-inducing drug designed to get you to look at ads and sell you things. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you realize that, or you think about what the ramifications are, is that it's designed to keep you engaging in it. It's showing you just what you want to know so that you keep reading. Make something. Read a book that you never thought you'd read. Is there a book on your shelf that you bought and you thought, I'm going to read this someday, and you never read it? Pick it up now. Now for me, it's like I have a whole library back there of theological books, for reference books and things that I have not read, and I will never get through them all. So at least I try to read some of them. I pick up a book and I read it. You know, I've got all these Francis Schaeffer books around, and you know, he said some good things. Let me read it. Let's see what he had to say about what was going to happen, and did happen, by the way. And it wasn't just Francis Schaeffer in the 60s and 70s who said this stuff that came to pass. But people like C.S. Lewis were saying these things in the early 20th century. People like J. Gresham Machen. Look up Christianity and Liberalism and read the introduction to that, and it sounds like it was written today, about what's happening today. These things don't go away. There's new names for them. Metamodernism, postmodernism. It's the same lies. It's the same people questioning what truth is and then defining it based on their own idolatry, looking into themselves to define what truth is. The oldest sin in the book, knowing good and evil. You eat this fruit, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Determining it for yourself. You determine what is right and wrong based on what you think inside of yourself. Your sinful heart. That's what determines truth. They just call it a different thing and they formulate it a different way, but it's the same mentality. The same mentality. That's why you can go back and read Lewis. You can read Machen and you can see that they said the exact same things. Goodbye, Hervoge. Go to sleep, man. Get some sleep, dude. The lies don't change. Just the frosting on top. Just the frosting they've painted on the outside, you know. We're going to make this look like the truth a little bit. Let's just put a couple of sprinkles on this pile of excrement. Then it'll be appetizing this time. Believe me. Would I steer you wrong? So what does that mean for you today? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're just a lowly person. Are you believing the truth? Are you trying to be consistent in your life? Are you trying to be consistent with what you believe in one sphere and the other? Are you acting in accord with the gospel, Christian? Love you, little one. There he is. It's a little guy. Are you acting in accord with the gospel? Are you doing everything to the glory of God? What is the chief end of man? Say it louder, Lady Vixen. What is the chief end of man?
To glorify God and enjoy Him forever.
To glorify God and enjoy Him forever. Where does your joy come from, Christian? Are you glorifying God in all that you do? Is your consumption of Twitter and Facebook, is it glorifying to God? Is your consumption of comic books, is it glorifying to God? Glorify God and enjoy Him forever. What's the source of your joy? Is it God? Is it what is good and true and beautiful? Then act in accord with these things. What does that mean? It means stop being a coward. It doesn't mean you have to be public on Twitter or Facebook, and I'm gonna start, my own YouTube channel and Twitter profile, and I'm just gonna tell the truth like it really is, and I'm gonna be a journalist, because there's not good journalists anymore. That's all I'm talking about. I'm talking your daily life as you interact with your family. Being a coward with your family? Are you being a coward in your love life? Are you living sacrificially for others? Are you married? If you are, think about this. What is love, right? We asked what is truth. What is love? Love is an act of the will, accompanied with emotion, right? That's the blessing, is that by loving someone, often you have emotions towards them. But it's a choice that you're making. You choose to love someone, right? Because the Bible says, love your enemies. Does that mean have warm, fuzzy feelings about your enemies? No. It means do what is right towards them. Act rightly towards them. Choose to do what is right in your interactions with them. The truth is, it starts with us. It starts with us as the individual. Do not buy into this myth that the individual does not exist, because that's what people want you to know. That's what people want you to believe. Fascists, communists, socialists, they're based on this idea that the individual's rights and the individual's responsibilities don't matter. But they do. It starts with you. Are you being honoring to God? Are you being a good person? Are you trying to live rightly? What is it that you're doing? I don't always do it rightly. Sometimes I yell at people. Sometimes I get mad at people that are frustrating and businesses that I have to interact with, and I don't treat them right. And I go back and they don't work there anymore, and there's nothing I could do. I can't apologize. I can't say, hey, I was wrong. I was a jerk. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. That was messed up. Then I strive to do better. Right? The next time I interact with someone, they mess up. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to explain to you why this is a stupid policy, but I'm also going to say, I know it's not your fault. I understand you're just forcing a policy. And I try to act more calmly. What are you doing? What am I doing? Am I living in accord with the truth? Do I want to believe the truth, or do I want to believe what's comforting to me? If the truth is uncomfortable, it doesn't mean it's not the truth. So what is truth? Well, truth is what, and we said the definition earlier, what is in accord or what agrees with reality, facts and reality. Where do these things come from? Well, I believe that things are true because God made them to be true. The God that is described as being the way, truth, and the life. That all things hold together in him. And nothing that has been made was not made through him, right? He has made everything. That there are laws of logic that exist because God made them. And that truth can be known. So when it comes down to it for me, the truth starts with the crux of the cross, right? That God himself, in order to save a sinful people, came down in the form of a man, lived a perfect life, and died on a cross. But he didn't just face physical suffering on this cross. No, he faced the wrath of God in the place of his people, facing their penalty. Substitution. Substitutionary atonement. Then he was laid in a grave and he rose again on the third day. But you see here, it's not just that he paid the penalty for your sin. No, he lived an actively obedient life, a perfect life. There's this thing called imputation where your sin was given to him on the cross and his perfect righteousness was given to you through faith. Through faith in Jesus. If you place your faith in Jesus Christ, you'll find him to be a perfect Savior that is ever living to be your intercessor. He stands forever in heaven as a high priest making intercession for you as the perfect high priest, the perfect sacrifice. That's the truth that my life springs out of. The things that I think, I try to think back to that as the root of it all. Am I being consistent with what God has said in his word? Am I being consistent with my beliefs in this? Am I valuing the preaching of that gospel beyond my own comfort? That truth beyond my own comfort and my own ideals? Is this an ideal that I hold because God says this in his word, or is it something that I just believe because it makes me comfortable or feel nice? Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like and a comment below. Don't share it out. Don't do that. It's over. Nobody watches live streams after they're over. Very few people do. Some people do. Arlene and Gary sometimes do. That's about it. I thank you. In the description, you will find a Patreon link. If you feel so inclined, if that Patreon gets to $50, I will be launching a podcast. If you don't know, I have 2 podcasts that have not been updated in a while, but I intend to update them at some point in my life. One of them is called Cross Section. It can be found on most podcast apps and at different places. Also on cruxofthecross.org. You can find it there. Follow us on Facebook. Look for Cross Section on Facebook. Here's the logo. This is what the logo looks like. Let me show you it. That's what the logo looks like. If you were inclined, you would fall over. That's how gravity works. It's true. Gravity exists because God made it to be so. So cross section. Another one is called Coin a Geek. COIN-A Geek. Subscribe to the YouTube channel over there, and hopefully new content will eventually be put up there. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and a comment. It helps the algorithm. Leave a dislike too, but don't. That's mean. That's mean. Don't be mean. But yes, with the Patreon gets to $50. Right now it's like $1. If it gets up to $50, I'll be launching a brand new, rebooted podcast. Because I like the name of an old podcast I had, so I'm going to use that name again. All right. Adios. I think it's dinner time, possibly.